Have you ever been asked something along the lines of, what do you want from life? Or what's your plan? And thought to yourself, well, I don't really know. I've been feeling that way a lot recently. So I took the time to actually sit down and write out my goals and what I would like to do for the rest of 2023. And I kind of structured these along the main areas of life that I felt were important to focus on to see great improvements in the rest of your life overall. So, my name is Tyler Warlow. I go by the Mengineer. I'm here to help you engineer your life. And in today's video, I'm going to talk about the goals that I've set for myself for the rest of 2023. Let's hop into it. So, for those of you that don't know, I'll just give a quick overview of the areas that I feel like are important to focus on in your life. If you want to see those in a little bit better detail, I'll put a link to my first video down in the description below. But those main areas are, of course, setting goals, personal finance, confidence and presentation, your work, your mental and physical health, and always learning. Now, right off the bat, obviously I'm going to address the point of one of those areas being setting goals, and that's what this video is all about. So I've not always been the best at setting goals and pursuing them. I've always been the type of person to set those goals and then not ever really develop a plan. I'm someone who really likes routine, and so when I have to set a goal that kind of breaks me out of that routine, I pursue that goal for a little bit, and then I tend to fall back into my old routines. So one of the things that I want to do to try and adjust that is at the beginning of each week, I want to examine my personal goals and just do an evaluation of where I'm at and the progress that I've made. I'm willing to adjust my goals as the years go on. I recognize that goals shouldn't be static things. Life circumstances change, and so I think it's important to be flexible and be willing to change those goals. But obviously the items that I'm going to be talking about today are kind of my overarching goals for 2023, but just know that those might change. So the first area that I want to talk about in today's video is personal finance. For those of you who might not know, I am happily engaged to my fiance. So one of the biggest things that I want to work towards in terms of my personal finances is setting up our weddings fund. I want to get our weddings fund fully set up by the end of 2023. That'd be great, as our wedding is in October of 2024. That way we really don't have to worry about any of the financial stressors behind planning a wedding, and we can really just focus on enjoying the planning process and trying to figure out the details of the wedding. Additionally, another big goal that I have is to set up a 6-month emergency fund. I have a lower risk tolerance than a lot of people when it comes to the emergency fund. So I want to have a full 6 months set up because I want both me and my fiance to be protected in case anything happens. So by the end of 2023, those are my two personal finance goals. Is I want to have established, 1, our full wedding fund, and 2, the 6-month emergency fund that will cover all of our expenses for 6 months in case something happens. Now, the second area that I'm going to talk about is the confidence and presentation area. There's two main things that I want to focus on. Number one, as some of you might know and others might not, I'm a bit of an introvert. I struggle in situations where there's a lot of people that I don't know, and I just feel out of place sometimes. So something that I want to work on is getting more comfortable talking to and getting to know people that I don't know. And one of the things that I've decided that I want to try to do to adjust that is saying hello and speaking to someone that I don't know at least once per week and trying to strike up a conversation. Whether that's the cashier at the grocery store, another worker at the job that I'm at, I just feel like it would be incredibly beneficial for me to practice those skills of getting to know other people, even if I'm a little bit uncomfortable. And I feel like over time, that's going to have a compounding effect and just make me more and more comfortable as I practice it. And one thing that I hope is once I've done the talk to one new person successfully for a couple weeks in a row, I'd like to up that to maybe 2 or 3 more people. So we'll see how that goes, but I'll keep y'all updated on that and if that goal ends up progressing at all. Now, the second area that I want to focus on is improving my wardrobe a little bit. The last time that I really bought myself some clothes and updated my style was about 3 years ago, and that was before I started going to the gym and working out more consistently. So I've started running into an issue where a lot of my old clothes really don't fit me anymore, and it has resulted in my clothes feeling uncomfortable and tight. But I really struggle with updating my wardrobe. It's hard for me to let go of clothes even if they don't fit me anymore. So one of my main goals is to clear out my closet, get rid of all of the clothes that either A, don't fit me anymore, or B, that I don't wear anymore. And then developing a basic wardrobe. A lot of people talk about the capsule wardrobe, which is buying just a few pairs of shirts, a few pairs of pants, shorts, but items that all the colors go together. And I'd like to have that capsule wardrobe established. And then once that's established, maybe taking some time to buy some extra pieces of clothing that I really like and that just stand out a bit. But I also don't want to have too large of a wardrobe. I like to keep things basic and kind of eliminate that guesswork of, well, does this look nice together? So I just want to keep things basic, develop that capsule wardrobe, and also finally get rid of the things that really just don't fit me anymore. And I'm hoping that by developing a wardrobe that I'm happy with and proud of, that's also going to help continue to boost my personal confidence and my presentation when I speak to other people. Now, the third area that I want to talk about is my physical and mental health goals. Really, my number one goal here is that I want to work out a minimum of 3 times a week every single week this year. The reason I bring this up is because I started consistently working out 2.5 years ago at the start of the pandemic. But one thing that has happened in each of the years that I've been doing that is there has been several month-long stints where I haven't worked out at all. And I noticed when those things were happening that my mental health kind of took a dip. I didn't feel as good physically. And every time I kind of used the excuse of I'm too busy. Well, the way that I want to kind of tackle that and adjust that is aiming for that 3 days a week, but not making it so it has to be like an hour and a half long workout. It just needs to be some form of physical activity for at least half an hour, 3 times a week. Primarily, I would love to focus on weightlifting, but of course, those workouts sometimes take me a bit longer. I have to drive a bit to get to the gym, so my gym experience is typically about a 2-hour experience. So on days that just get really busy or weeks that get really busy, I still want to hit that 3-day-a-week goal. And if I have to do that by just going to outside and going on a quick 30-minute run or doing some stretching and yoga, I still want to use some form of physical activity for at least 30 minutes for 3 days a week. And I really don't want to compromise on that because I've noticed that for myself, it makes a huge impact on how I feel physically as well as how I feel mentally. That's really my biggest goal, and then there's 2 smaller goals that kind of go into this. In terms of exercise, I want to find a form of cardio that I really enjoy. For the past 2.5 years, I've primarily been focusing on weightlifting and not necessarily for health. When I first started weightlifting, it wasn't because I wanted to do it to be healthy. It was because I wanted to do it to look better. I've always been an extremely skinny dude. When I first started working out, I was 145 pounds at 6'2", and I wanted to pack up on some muscle because I really didn't like always being called scrawny. So now that I have packed on that muscle and I feel better about how my body is in general, I recognize the importance of cardiovascular health. And I recognize that I may not have the best form of it. However, every time that I've tried running, it really hasn't gone well. I will stick with it for a few weeks and then stop. The longest that I have ever done a running thing was I trained for a half marathon, but that was because I lost a bet. And as soon as I finished the half marathon back in November, I have done no form of running since then. I really don't enjoy it. So I want to find some form of cardio that I enjoy. So some things that I want to try are swimming, dancing, or even cycling. I just want to find that form of cardio. So I want to experiment and try a few different things by the end of June and kind of find one form of cardio that I can stick with for the rest of the year. Now, my final goal that's going to go into the mental health category is I want to take time at least twice a week to foster the relationships in my life. Recently, I went on 2 months of second shift and I kind of let the relationships in my life slide a little bit. I didn't take as much time as I would have liked to reach out to friends and connect with my fiance. So that's something that I really want to focus on in the months going forward and towards the end of the year is I really want to take time twice a week to focus on building some relationship in my life. Ideally, once a week, I would love to focus on fostering my relationship with my fiance. We've been together for 7 years now, and it has really helped us stay close by taking time to be with each other and find things that we both enjoy, talk about our days, and just make sure that we still have a really positive time together. So that's why I want to make sure I'm doing that at least once a week. And then the other day that I have for the week, I'd like to try and focus on developing my relationships with my friends, whether that's going out and doing something, hopping on a call and just catching up about how life has been. I'd love to reach out and be able to foster those relationships with my friends and keep them close, especially because I felt like I lacked in that area a bit over the last 2 months. Now, the next area that I want to talk about is my professional work goals. So this area I'm going to focus on a little bit less. I know that it's a bit less applicable to everyone, but really my main goal is I want to obtain some certifications for the coding that I do by the end of July. I kind of want to take 30 minutes a day, and I have been taking 30 minutes a day after work to kind of try and learn some of the fundamentals and the basics and get those certifications in my pocket. So that way I can really say, look, I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm doing. And that way people can point to me and say, he's a professional. He knows what he's talking about. He's reliable. Speak to him if you have any questions. And the second goal that I want to focus on in terms of my work is developing my network within my company and understanding the organization as a whole. The company that I work at is very based around the knowledge that we all share with one another. So I want to be able to learn who knows what, so that way if I'm ever on a project, I can easily know who I need to turn to instead of in that moment having to go searching for that person and wasting time. I want to take that time now ahead of time to develop those relationships and those ideas of who knows what, so that when the time comes, I have that information readily available. And finally, I want to talk about some of my learning goals. My biggest goal that I've already been working on this year is I want to read a book per month. Now, to some people, that might seem pretty simple, pretty easy, but for me, it's not. When I got into high school, I very much got into the mindset of, well, reading's not for pleasure. I'm being forced to read and answer these questions that I really just don't enjoy. So I'm going to stop reading outside of high school. And as a result, I lost my love for books. It has been incredibly difficult for me to be consistent about reading books just because my reading speed is nowhere near what it used to be. And sometimes I can find it difficult to commit to actually picking up that book when there's other things that provide that kind of reward much faster. And I know that that's just an excuse, and so I'm trying to address that now by setting a personal goal of reading 1 book per month in the year of 2023. I've already been doing this now. I'm now working on my 5th book of the year called Atomic Habits. So far, I'm enjoying it. And the way that I've been doing this personally is I just look at how many pages are in the book, and then I break it down as I have to hit a certain page goal for the year. And while that might seem kind of forceful to others, it has been helping me by making it very bite-sized, and I don't have to sit down for several minutes, maybe an hour to read like a couple chapters of the book. It's made it so it's very easy and digestible for me, and I can take in the information very easily and in small chunks. Last month, actually, I finished ahead of time because I was enjoying the book. So I want to stick with this goal, and maybe next year, if I'm successful with this year, I'll up it to 2 books a month. I have 3 more goals in the learning area that I'd like to discuss. The first of which is I want to post a new YouTube video every week for the rest of the 2023 year. And what I mean by learning for this is I've never had any sort of experience editing videos or talking to a camera. So this is a very new experience for me. And I want to post a new video every single week, and each week try to make it a little bit better than the last. I'm not aiming to make massive improvements on each and every video. I'm just trying to find ways, oh, how do I do this? How do I do that? For instance, right now, I'm really trying to focus on learning the video editing software that I'm using. There's a lot of shortcuts and tips and tricks that make things go faster that I didn't know when I first started. So I've already learned a lot, and it's just a personal goal to keep doing this till the end of 2023 and continue learning and make each video a little bit better if I can. The next part of that is I'm trying to take at least one course on Skillshare per month. I have already found it to be very helpful in terms of getting started on YouTube. I took Ali Abdal's Getting Started on YouTube course. It's 4 hours, and it's kind of what gave me the push to start posting videos here. I've also taken Thomas Frank's productivity course, and I've recently signed up to take a course on video editing for the software that I'm learning. And I would love to continue to take one new course per month and just doing that in my free time between making new videos. So we'll see how it goes. Of course, some of those courses are going to be longer than others, so I'm not going to set it hard and fast. It has to be one course because I recognize that some of those courses are going to be really long, and then some of those courses are going to be really short. So just as long as I continue to try and do new courses and I learn new things, that makes me very happy. The last thing that I want to try is learning a new skill every month. And that's something that I'm going to try and incorporate into my YouTube videos. I want to try various hobbies, new things. Like I want to try and learn how to skateboard a little bit. I want to try and learn how to go mountain biking or rock climbing, and kind of describe my experiences with learning those hobbies to y'all and kind of the things that I benefited from, whether I would recommend it for others, and just have a fun time with it. And I want to try something new around every month. So if any of you have any ideas or suggestions for new hobbies to try and learn, please feel free to leave a comment down in the comments below. I would love to hear from y'all and get some ideas. But that, of course, brings us to the end of my goals for 2023. Obviously, these are kind of broad. If you'd like to learn more or have a discussion, get some ideas for some personal goals for yourself, please feel free to leave ideas or comments down in the comments below. I'd love to have that discussion with y'all. As always, you'll be able to find my most recent video right here. And because I mentioned it earlier in the video, if you want to take a look at my first video ever where I discuss the key areas to focus on to improve your life, that will be right here. As always, please leave a like and subscribe. And this is the Mengineer signing off.